You know, it's like Christmas in January. There's a group of lures in our Yellowtail Coffin nail series that I've been trying to get in here for, let's say about a year. Um, we made an initial run of really two different styles of lures. Ones that were like the Uzuri, the double deep divers, and then another run that was more like the Rapala X Wraps. Um, in the case of the ones that were more similar to the Rapalas, uh, ours were a floating diver instead of a countdown. Which means they were a dandy lure to toss out there and then go ahead and reel on back. Or for light line trolling, say 20-pound class, or if you're running Spectre, maybe 50, they would do very well. But they weren't designed for fishing on the heavier lines. But it was similar to the Rapala, say 30 size, on the initial offerings that way. We also wanted to expand upon that and have a few things that were bigger and some things that were smaller within that same category of lure, and introduce the shallow divers. So that's what we did. But the only catch was it took us a long time to bring these guys to market. Rounding out that series on the Yellowtail Coffin nails, we added some stick baits. In three different sizes, three different configurations, and those are some serious lures for casting. As far as competitive pieces out there, you're not going to find much that's less than 20 bucks that comes anywhere close to what those guys do. And then we also added a couple of poppers. Now, in the past on our poppers, we've had four different styles of wooden big Mondo type poppers and surface cruisers. And now, within the Yellowtail Coffin nail series, we've added another style in two different sizes that are some of the best looking poppers you'll ever find. And they cast well too. So let me get into the lures here a little bit and I'll show you a quick flash and then we'll wind up getting in a little more close up, a little more detail. Okay, let's first get into the Diver Minnow series. This is your standard Rapala X-Wrap in a 30 size. That's as big as they get. And then this is our version of the Diver Minnow, which, as you can tell, is roughly the same size. And since we bring these to market ourselves, the price is excellent. Weight-wise, on our piece, initially we were about a half ounce lighter in terms of weight, and now we've bumped that up a bit. We'll go over that a little bit later. Other differentiating factors on these guys, we use a weight distribution system internally now, which we did not do before. So there's a little more iron in there to bounce around. But the most exciting thing, this pretty standard offering, as you can tell, very similar in terms of design. Where we go next is a whole different animal. And this is something that nobody else has. This is our big one. Again, here's the standard Rapala, and here is our big version of that lure. As you can tell, it is a lot bigger. This piece is over 10 inches in terms of length. So for the guys going down to Baja, trying to get into some better grade fish, or trolling even locally for yellowtail, the larger the bait, I think the better. This corresponds more to, say, a Rapala CD18 to a 22 in terms of its physical size. And it will troll very, very well the way it's made. This piece is more designed for the troll than it is for the cast. You can cast them just fine if you're tossing to some bigger predators, some bigger tails. But within that Yellowtail Coffin nail series, this would be where I would go if I was going down to Baja. I wanted to do some trolling to pull up some better grade yellowtail, some other fish. Significantly larger lure, much better profile that way. And we added to the color patterns that we're running on this piece. Comparing it in size, let's see here, to a mirror lure as well. Mirror lure is another popular lure down in that neck of the woods. This guy is a lot bigger, and it's going to get noticed. No doubt about it. Strong piece. So on the Yellowtail Coffin nail, we took it up a notch in terms of physical size, and we also dropped these guys down in terms of size. We'll show these off a little bit in more detail. But here we have our two shallow diver versions with a shallow lip. I'll bring that guy in and you can get a little better view that way. Smaller size, very appropriate for tossing inshore. Or if you see some stuff floating around a kelp pad, go ahead and swim this little guy back. These guys both have a weight distribution system. On this piece, you probably have, I'm going to say 7, balls in there that are shifting, as well as a couple stick baits series from us. And there are 3 lures within that series. We'll go through these again in a little more detail. But basically, here is a large piece. Again, using a weight distribution system, you can hear that. There's quite a chunk in there, several balls. And then we have a mid-size, and then we have the little guy. The largest and the smallest use 2 hooks. The one in the middle shoots with 3. On the 2 smaller sizes, they're 2X on the hooks. On the larger size, it's a meaty VNC 3X. And last within the Yellowtail Coffin series of our new lures are the 2 poppers. And these are certainly, I think, 2 of the most exciting new lures on the market for 2012. These are some beautiful poppers, probably the nicest pieces you'll ever come across in terms of their finish and their construction. They're solid, they cast well, and they will blow a major league bubble trail. But these guys are things to be excited about. Again, the weights are right and the size is right for a wide variety of fish. Okay, first off, these are the diver minnows within the Yellowtail Coffin series. And we have 4 different lures going from a little small guy. And this little piece comes in at right about 1 ounce in terms of weight. And then it's about 4 inches in terms of total length. Moving up 1 notch, we're at 1.5 ounces. Again, you can hear the weight distribution system. And this is about 5.5 inches in terms of total length. The next size up in terms of the diver minnow, this piece again is a floating diver. This piece would be total length of about 8.25 inches, including the bill, and comes in weighing at 2.3 ounces. And then the big boy, and this piece again is more for the troll from a private boat. But this piece, there's nothing like it on the market in terms of its size. You're at a total length of 11 inches, and then you come in at 4 ounces in terms of weight. As you can tell, big broad bill. It'll drag very, very well. You could bump up the line test on these guys. All of those lures, have rings. We have a welded ring on this size. Here we had to go into a very, very strong split ring. On the biggest size, it is a big, big split ring, as you can tell here. Try and move that guy up. You're not going to have any issues in terms of that ring whatsoever. And then we're back to splits on our little guys. Okay. Beautiful finishes, as you can tell. Really, the cosmetics of these things and the color patterns are excellent. Okay, on our stick bait series, there are 3 different sizes. The 2 smallest ones come in at 125 millimeters in terms of length, which translates to 5 inches, and they both weigh about 1 ounce, so a nice weight for casting. Again, a good weight distribution system internal on the lure, so they will cast well, especially considering their weight. Next up would be the 3-hook model. The 3-hook model is 1 inch longer, coming in at 6 inches. Weighs about 1.5 ounces. Again, it'll cast very well with a multi-ball distribution system. And then we get into the bigger stick baits, and these are definitely lures that do not have any reservations as far as dealing with larger size fish with. The hooks are meaty. You're at 3X's on these guys. They come in a total length of 7 inches, and they weigh about 2.5 ounces, 2.3 ounces. They will cast very, very well. And that weight distribution system is really quite good. It's a multi-ball again. So it'll rest close to neutral in the water. It's a floater. Then you'll attain depth upon the retrieve. And that's the stick bait series. 3 different sizes. Coming in at 5, 6, and 7 inches in terms of length. And the last group of lures to show off would be the new poppers. And these guys, again, excellent in terms of their fit and finish. Quality of the hooks and the rings is very, very good. Dealing with schoolie tuna in that range of 100 pounds and down, I would not have any reservation in terms of using them as they're rigged. If you bump up, some guys like going to a double hook or a single hook, and that's fine. With these split rings, you can go ahead and replace them, and they're a high quality split ring. All the lures are through wired. All of them have some gorgeous eyes, concave head with a welded ring or a solid ring on the nose. They will cast very, very well. Again, 2 different sizes of these guys, so appropriate for really lots of different applications on your better grade tuna and yellowtail. Not too big to throw to the schoolies on the small size. In terms of size, you're working at, let's see here, 200 millimeter on the big one, down to 160 for the small. Both of them are using VMC hooks, both 3X on those hooks. That translates in terms of length to 8 inches for the big guy, and we're at 5 inches for the small. Actually, it's closer to 6 inches for the small guy. So you've got 8 and 6 going there. In terms of the weight, 5 ounces for the big one. 5 ounces. That will cast well on conventional gear without any issues. And you're over 3 ounces on the small. Again, that will cast well on conventional gear. You don't have to use spinning tackle on these guys. There's enough mass to toss them out with your conventional gear. If you want to use spinning gear, fine. But don't be afraid to use your conventional and then benefit from typically a beefier drag system. Excellent pieces, and they certainly will blow a lot of bubbles and create quite a commotion on the surface. And the finishes are gorgeous. We go from a sardine pattern, a blue mac, a skippy, brings in some purple on the top, our purple and black mac pattern, our ahi or yellowfin pattern, and then we bring in the pink. And this is a dandy color for tossing in Baja, or a lot of other places for that matter. If I was in Panama or Costa Rica, this would definitely be a go-to. So that's the breakdown. As always, thanks much for taking the time to put up with a video. You can see why I'm a little excited this morning with the new lures all finally arriving after over a year worth of development time. These guys finally made it in. Took a long time to get them, but now that they're here, they're flat out gorgeous. And we have some unique pieces that nobody else does on the marketplace that will get you bit. Thank you much for watching.
Как на берегу озера тайком загорали русалочки втроем, да болтали русалки о любви, кто кого заманил в свои силки. Да зацелую, да заколдую, заворожу я. Чу по берегу парень да молодой. Ой, девчонки, хорошенький он такой. Ой, подружки, влюбилась я не могу. Ой, девчата, хочу, я его хочу. Я тебя зацелую, обниму сильно-сильно. Я тебя заколдую до утра, долго-долго. Я тебя зацелую и скажу нежно-нежно. Если я полюбила, значит ты мой навечно.